Susy Radio, and it will do that for you. So this evening in the Susy Radio studio, I have a chap who has a very long association with this particular show. A chap called Amos, who sat right in front of me. Hey, how you doing, man?
Hello. How's things?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you very much.
I was trying to quantify in my head how long it's been since you were last in the studio, and I think it's probably about 5-6 years, maybe.
Yeah, man, isn't it?
Where have you been hiding?
So yeah, I mean, I've got quite an interesting story that I'd love to share tonight. Been up to London, I've been everywhere.
Yeah.
But
Well, I'll put a bit of history on the whole thing, a little bit of a backstory, if you will. The fact is, Jamie came in here previously with a band called The Blue Pursuit, and he's gone from doing his own music to music production. Is that right to say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that. How come you've decided to kind of step away from the whole making music thing to, I suppose you're still making music,
Yeah.
but from the production side of things?
Well, yeah, I love helping other musicians.
Yep.
And I've kind of just like fallen into it.
Okay. Because you come from a very musical family, don't you?
My mum plays guitar, yeah.
Yeah.
And all my siblings do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's always music going on in the house and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I started off DJing, like playing little schools and parties for my friends. Yeah, I got into the Blue Pursuit. We were playing lots of indie music. Yeah, and I mean, I just worked in studios. I loved being around like audio gear, like
Yeah, sure.
and like being able to tweak things and like with like studios, you can take your time a bit more.
Sure.
And yeah, I like the art side to it.
So, with regards to studio, do you have your own little setup going on with the whole Jamie Amos producer thing?
Yeah, it's exciting at the moment because it's all been like it's been a bit of a transition period. So I'm working with a couple of studios in the area.
Yep.
And I've got a little home production studio. I also have I've worked with a friend. We produce at his house too. So yeah, it's cool.
And the stuff, you've got a whole memory stick full of good stuff that you've brought in this evening. What's the first track you're going to play for us, Jamie?
So this is Feeling Lowly by Boy Pablo.
Yeah?
And,
tell us a little bit about this one.
I just found it the other night and I was like, this is indie music from the start, like where I originated from. So,
yeah, let's give it a go.
I woke up this morning feeling low.
boy Pablo, the choice of Jamie Amos, is here and live in the Susy Radio studio. Jamie, I hope you forgive me, but I forgot to give out the text number and the Twitter handle to those listening in, so I'm going to do that now.
Yes.
Text number is 07480 025 010. That's 07480 025 010. Or you can tweet us at Susy Radio, hashtag tuning you won't. Big shout out to Duncan, who's listening in. Also Jason and Katrina, who are also listening in on the FM frequency. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to get in touch with us, please do so. It's lovely hearing from you on a Monday evening. But on to Jamie, who's here in the studio with loads of tracks and a bit of a story to tell us. So tell us a little bit about your what's been going on with you, man.
Yeah, so basically, so the next tune that I was thinking of playing was more Chiba.
Yeah.
And basically, they live locally.
Yes.
So
I think that was the connection previously with your previous band. I think the drummer was Sky from Mochiba's son.
Yeah. So Sky and Steve. And they're so nice, and they basically like mentored me when I was like growing up. When I was like 13, 14.
Oh wow!
And they helped me with the Blue Pursuit, and we supported them at like Bush Hall, and did and we supported them in Bristol as well. So they like influenced me considerably, and they helped me out loads.
So seeing that side of music, like on the big, obviously Bush Hall, that's a big deal, man.
Yeah, it was cool.
That's a really big deal.
It was fun. Yeah.
So seeing that side of things, obviously, is kind of spurred you on. Really.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they basically like inspire me to make money from music as well, not just like to do music, but to like, because they're doing really well. They tour the world. Like I know Jager, the drummer, he's like touring with them. So it's like when you're 13 and 14, it's like you almost need someone to go, yeah, okay, it's doable. Like you can do it. So they spurred me on. And then when I was playing bands in college, so I was studying music a bit, and I played in like a little metal band and like and loads of indie bands at college.
Sure. What's the college that you were at?
Riot College.
That's a very creative place, man.
Yeah, like Disclosure obviously came from there. And Deluxe, who we're talking about, they're from there.
And the band Hourglass, who we had in the fortnight ago,
also
from Reigate College also.
Yeah. It's like it's a cool place, and the music tech teacher who we had was like ridiculously good.
Oh, okay.
So like we were very lucky, and I'm grateful like for my education.
Sure. So how does that translate from going, from hanging out with the likes of Machiba and like, how does that translate to your day-to-day life in your music production?
Well, like, they're very chilled out, so I guess like my music production is like pretty chilled.
Yeah. You get the job done though, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. No, it's laid back, but then it's focused as well.
Sure.
I mean, they have, the way they work is they have a little studio, and it's pretty jokes. Yeah, when I was in college, the music teacher, I told them like, oh, I'm with Mochiba, and like helping out Mochiba, and they were like, oh, I preferred 07 over Mochiba.
Controversial.
Yeah, I know. But then I was like whatever. Like, I love Mochiba. So that was interesting. But yeah, they just, the way they work is so professional, but laid back as well. So. With production, I learned like about pre-production, like how to help a band like before going into recording.
Sure.
That's something I'm really trying to help with bands at the moment, is because it's easy to just go into a studio and then what do you do? So I'm trying to help bands a bit before and a bit after as well, with like promotion and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Because what I've found from doing the show over the years I've been doing it is a lot of bands will get into a studio, time's limited because obviously there's financial implications and stuff like that. They'll get in there and try to lay down a record in, say, 3 days or something like that, with literally no pre-production whatsoever, and then are actually genuinely surprised when nothing becomes of it.
Yeah.
Or the tracks that they come out of the whole session sound like nothing like they wanted them to sound.
Exactly, yeah.
So yeah, I suppose from that side of things, it's quite useful to have someone like you on board who knows the score.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So what Mochiba track have you selected?
So I picked Rome Was a Built in a Day, just because.
Great tune. Yeah, let's do it.
You and me were meant to be walking free in harmony. One fine day we'll fly away. Don't you know that Rome wasn't built in a day? Hey, hey, hey. In this day and age, it's so easy to stress.
Rome wasn't built in a day. The choice of my studio guest, Jamie Amos, the music producer. We'll be back in a little moment. We're going to do some adverts. We'll be right back. I think after the break, Jamie, if it's all right with you, we're going to do some London Grammar. Featuring London Grammar. Help Me Lose My Mind. Oh, it's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a really nice tune.
Just superb. 27 minutes past the hour of 8 o'clock here on Susy 103.4. Joined in the Susy radio studio this evening by a lovely chap by the name of Jamie Amos. Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm good, how are you?
Yeah, good. So we were talking just a little bit before we had disclosure about your progression through the musical scene, shall we say.
Yes.
What are you doing at the minute kind of to champion local music?
Yeah, man, so like... I'm trying to connect people. That's my main thing. So trying to build the community.
Yep.
And the main thing, one of the things I do is like a mastermind group. So like we get people together, like the Yard in Reigate.
Which is a wonderful venue, by the way.
Wicked.
Yeah.
Have you been?
Yeah.
Cool.
I love it. I just love the little kind of the warm little ambience of it all. You know, it's great. It's a great place. The Yard big up the Yard in Reigate.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
There's like a photographer called Ryan Monchel who does some wicked photography, music, weddings, all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's another guy who does like it's called Horseman Soundworks. He does like fixing audio gear and like guitars and like anything you need fixed. He's like really good. His name's Andy, and and then there's obviously me, and I do a little production. I've got another production sort of business with a friend, and we record bands. So I'm recording artists, and we mainly record bands.
Sure.
We're trying to like build something in Reigate, in Redhill. Trying to use all my experience in London that I got.
Cool. So who are you working with at the minute? Who should we be listening out for? I mean, obviously this show is a big champion of local music and has been for quite some time. So who are you feeling at the minute locally?
I'll tell you one name. I'll tell you some more later. There's a guy called Tom Hunley.
Yep.
He's aka a Lethargic Phoenix, and we're working on his next record basically.
Mm-hmm.
And he's influenced by loads of stuff. The Shins. To like there's a band called Super Furry Animals.
You love Super Furry Animals.
Man, they're sick. Lots of quirky stuff. So we're working with him. He's playing, I think, the Yard soon.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact date, but it's worth checking out. And the next tune I was thinking we could play was Tom Grenham, who basically, when I moved to London, I met his manager on the train.
So random.
And and we clicked, and like I was working for like a little record label, Domino Records. I was working for them for a little bit, and I know London Grammar fairly well. They're producers and stuff. So so like we clicked, and now he's touring the world doing big things, and
Amazing. Should we hear it? What's the track called, man?
So it's Tom Grenham, and it's Something in the Water.
Amy, which is pretty cool. On the 07, I'm going to turn that off because we seem to be going into the next track. It's coming on the text number, which is 07480025010. Keep the texts coming in because we like hearing from you. Trevor has asked the question. He says, the big question for Jamie Amos is, when are the Blue Pursuits going to reform?
Good question, Trevor.
That's a good question, yeah.
So that's Alex. So we used to play... Alex was the guitarist, and that's his dad.
Okay.
And
nice collection there.
Yeah, and I'd love to get the Blue Pursuit back together, but I don't know. Well, hopefully, naturally, it might happen. We'll see.
Did you guys actually put a record together at all?
We did. Yeah, we put like a little EP together. Unfortunately, we were living together also, and we sort of clashed a bit. Who knows? It's been a while, so might be a good little...
Are you all still on talking terms?
Yeah, I think so.
Good.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, definitely.
Good.
yeah, so that might happen. Maybe.
I'd love to hear that, because you guys had such youthful energy.
Yeah,
there was a certain exuberance to the band. I genuinely enjoyed that.
Ah, cool.
So yeah. Outside of music, what else are you doing with your life at the minute?
With my life,
yeah. It's a big question.
Yeah,
sorry.
That's all right. Yeah, I mean, I swim, like I walk. I just so like I'm trying to promote mental health quite a bit.
The awareness thereof, yes.
Yeah, the awareness, and we were chatting about it a bit before. How important it is to in music, especially in the music industry. I've got loads of friends who all have mental health, and I personally went through a few breakdowns as well.
Sure.
I was in hospital, and after I worked with Tom Grenham on the last tune, and basically the stress it got too much.
Sure.
And I think that's the key thing with mental health is stress. Like, bodies and brains can't deal with stress, too much of it.
Absolutely,
basically.
yeah.
So like I had to take a break, and but luckily I recovered, and I ended up starting another studio. I ended up working with a girl called Nilofer Yanya, who was on the BBC Introducing. We did like BBC Maid of Air, played at Brixton Academy, Shepherd's Bush, went touring around Europe. So luckily I recovered.
Do you think that influences the way in which you work from a production point of view in that? Because obviously you're talking about the fact that the stress gets on top of you to the point where, you're at breakdown, because obviously there's deadlines to meet, there's certain expectations of you.
100%.
So when you approach that from a production point of view, are you a lot more kind of softly, would you say?
I'm a lot more like wary of time, because like it's certainly in the studio you've got a day or 2 days, and you've only got that time.
Sure.
So it's making the most of that, whether it's as I said before, doing pre-production where you know what you're doing in the studio with the band, making sure they're tight, making sure they're rehearsed, all that sort of stuff is really important. But yeah, like when I was working in studios, it was till 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my goodness.
And you'd wake up at 8 o'clock to go back to the studio for 10. Like it was like, and the reason why I produce now is because I can't do that studio style.
Sure.
Like, it's too much for me. Like literally it put me in hospital. So I don't do that side, and I try and help bands in different ways.
Yeah. And I suppose because of your past experiences, you can see in others what could trigger or what looks like the beginnings of some sort of a breakdown.
Yeah. Sort of. I guess so. Like, I'm not a doctor.
No, sure,
but I've got my experience.
You can identify things in others that you may have experienced in yourself.
I mean, in musicians, certainly, it's like there's a lot of mental health, and I always ask, like, what are you struggling with? Are you doing all right, like, mental health wise?
I do like that, yeah.
Because, like, if you're going into a studio, the last thing you want them to be is, like, in a crisis.
Sure.
And there's a tune that I want to play later by a guy called Benjamin Francis Leftwich, who what tune do you want to play next?
I don't know. It's up to you. What do you want to do? It's your show. It is your show, Jamie.
Yes, by Benjamin Francis Leftwich would be nice.
Yeah.
And we clicked over mental health. And this guy, he's got like 200 million streams on Spotify.
Wow.
He was big with a tune called Atlas Hands. And we clicked. I was in the studio. I'd never heard of him, and we just like vibed over that. And we wrote this song. I co-wrote this song with him, and I was very lucky.
Let's do it. We're going to be right back with more of Jamie Amos's selections just after this break. Imagine a lovely musical discoveries coming out this evening, Jamie. Tell us a little bit about that track.
That's Another Sky, Chillers. And I've just found that tune, I found it in hospital. Like, basically it got me through loads of stuff. Like, that's just a good tune to get you through the day.
Do you know much about them?
I saw them live. Yeah, they're 4 or 5 piece, and they're really cool. Like, that tune they wrote as a joke, so they didn't even they didn't take that song seriously whatsoever. And I think it's like, for me, it's like about like the industry and how like everyone's trying to take advantage of you in some sort of way.
Do you think the industry is quite hard wearing on a person then, from that point of view?
Like the music industry?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, I'm only at the baby steps. Like,
sure,
I've only seen the iceberg, like the tip of the iceberg. But yeah, I think it's hard, and it's hard to get a foot in the door. Like, like the first studio job I had, my dad knew the maintenance guy, so I was just lucky that family knew someone. And yeah, it's difficult, but yeah, I'm very grateful for what's happened to me. Like, even through all the mental health stuff, and like I've had, as I said, like really good opportunities with like amazing people, touring, like, and now I'm starting the production business. So like, it's gone really well, luckily.
So how's your schedule looking production wise? Are you quite busy?
Man, it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
what's in the pipeline then?
So I've got a list here. So I've got a guy. So the next tune I want to play is like an influence of his. Dennis by Roy Blair.
Yeah.
And the guy's name is Bradley Wall. And have you heard of him?
No.
No. So like Bradley played for One Direction. He's working out of Abbey Road. He is like the craziest drummer you will ever see in your life. Like, he's wicked. But he goes by the name Moboy, and we're working on his album. So I've got him coming up. I'm working, as I said, with Lethargic Phoenix, local like artist, and another guy called Nick T, who's wicked. I would highly recommend him coming down.
Sure.
He's got a wicked little live set, and yeah, we might be doing some recordings. That'd be cool. But yeah, like if there's any bands out there that need recording, I'm offering like a 3-hour consultation. So like sit down, chat about what you're doing, like how to help, like all that sort of stuff.
How do people get in touch with you, man?
So my Instagram is Jamie Music Producer.
Yep.
Or my email is like jamieproducer@icloud.com.
Nice.
So,
yeah, cool.
Pretty simple. But
so
yeah.
should we hear this Roy Blair track?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Cool.
Jamie Amos, who has been our guest this evening, and it's been an absolute joy to have you in the studio this evening, Jamie.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for coming across, and really looking forward to seeing what the future holds for you in production and stuff like that.